Really?
That's cool. But that also was where we just went, I mean, we just have to stop because we were already going.
So how many
Dude,
days?
I mean, we'll get started here shortly. The pizza should have been here by now, but it must have.
Sunday through.
It might have ran into Sunday, so I want to have
Oh, wow.
time.
We left Sunday from Antigua.
Yeah, you.
And we got back to Antigua.
Yeah. Right to the left. We'll get started in a minute here.
Well, and if I do it, I'll be fine. I probably had it on. I may start it now. But I need to find some other people to do it with me. It wouldn't be worth wanting this time to take just me.
Because I would do it again. The Chapal thing. Some milk champagne. Some milk champagne.
When y'all were going through the caves with the lights on the
That was at Seattle.
and jumping off into the boats.
Exactly. Or was that some milk champagne? Yeah, that was some milk champagne. You're right. Seattle.
I know.
20 feet. As high as the sea.
Cool.
Is this your whole classroom?
Oh, it's Casey's Pizza? All right, we're getting introduced Guillermo to Casey's Pizza.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, we can start.
Yeah, we will.
Pizza comes.
That's what I was thinking. We'll start once Guillermo comes in here. We'll get rolling, so that'll be the plan. On in.
That's the bacon breakfast. I don't like the sausage when they put gravy on there. Or they put that cheese on there. I'm not a big gravy dude. That's fair. Oh, there's pizza.
Oh, here he comes.
Still think we should probably get started, but. Should we let people load up? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you guys, yeah, well, now that pizza's here, why don't you guys come back and get some pizza?
Looks like you can almost have all pizza to yourselves.
Yeah.
They're feeding you well.
So the story about
Midwestern.
this pizza, this is from a gas station. Yes,
Yeah.
so the weird thing is, usually from a gas station, the best pizzas. I mean, people have their preferences, obviously, but usually we think gas station pizzas like gas station pizza, really.
But a lot of
This
small
is-
towns.
Yeah,
This
and
is.
so this, yeah, this is like a pizza shop.
I mean, Wakefield has 2 gas stations and one of them has a Casey's, and the high school students, I don't know how many times I had to go get a pizza for Jonathan and have it delivered to
Yes.
school.
Yes. So it's kind of an Americana. Yeah, yes, that's what.
It makes it more.
Yes. You have a piece of Americana. Oh, yes. So they sell,
Yeah.
so these students just.
And in the gas station, they'll serve by the slice and I like that. So you can just pop in and it's in a little heated display.
Yeah.
So, since we're getting a little late start, when do you need us done?
Oh,
Okay.
you've done.
Us done.
Yeah, like maybe 12:35, and we'll get
Okay.
you going right now. Maybe.
That's enough time.
All right, well, welcome all to Get Pizza. This is just kind of a casual get together. So the Gwartney Institute has been working on some travels to Guatemala. And on a trip that I went on, I had the opportunity to meet one of our guest speakers, Guillermo, who is from Guatemala, and he's here doing some work with Linda Yates.
Yarrow.
Yarrow.
Yes.
Wow,
You got the
I knew
one
another.
way, you got
I
the
knew
one
another.
way.
I knew another Yates. Yeah. So, and she's a professor from K-State. So this is a potential for kind of a partnership with some of the stuff that they're doing, and she'll present on that. And lastly, my wife works with a nonprofit, and we'll hear from her organization too. So we got lots of different things going on with Guatemala. And without further ado, I'll let Linda go. That clicker
Okay,
should work.
thank you. So the reason we are presenting our program to you is we designed this initially for our students, and there's so many opportunities for anybody to go to Guatemala and use your knowledge and your skills to provide service and support to the organizations that are supporting the indigenous Maya, and we are opening this up to everybody. And so we want to explain to you about the program in case it's something that you might want to look at for your future. So just as an overview, Guillermo Gonzalez, who is our program manager down in Guatemala, will talk more about the Lake Atitlan region. We do require students stay a minimum of 6 weeks. This is not your traditional 10-day study abroad tour, because we want you beyond the tourist stage. We want you invested in the community and there long enough to really be able to contribute to the organizations and supporting the people. The program is going to be able to run year-round. So if somebody wanted to go in March, if they want to go in June, if they want to go in September, we're going to have it set up that at whatever point somebody wants to go, we can make the arrangements. Guillermo is our on-site program manager. He'll talk more about that. We do have one class that you have to enroll in at K-State, but there's a reason why there's a couple of reasons you do have to enroll as a non-degree seeking student. Now our students can enroll for 0 to 1 credit. Anybody outside of K-State has to enroll for that 1 credit, and I'll show you what 1 credit costs. Because enrolling in that 1 credit means you are covered under our risk management plan, which means our insurance plan. So for any reason something happens, you need to see a doctor while you're there. Not likely, but if you need to be in the hospital while you're there, or you need to be flown back to Kansas, this enrolling in this 1 credit automatically gets you in our plan. All those costs are covered under the insurance plan. So you don't have to end your trip back. We have a student right now there for 14 weeks, needed to come back to Kansas for 3 weeks because of a pre-existing medical condition. And so she flew back, and then she went back to the region, and everything was covered under the insurance plan. So more about that. But the class is also being recorded because it's going to be offered once a week for about 10 weeks this spring, and we know it's unlikely everybody, even on campus, can show up. So if you wanted to do this starting this spring, you could join us either by Zoom or you could watch the recordings, because the other purpose of the class is cultural training. We want you to understand what it's like to be in a country that is not your native country, just being aware of cultural habits. You learn about Guatemala, the Civil War, you learn about the organization that you would be placed with. And you can stay longer than 6 weeks. That's just the minimum. These are some pictures showing you, this is the Lake Atitlan area. It's got volcanoes, the lake is beautiful, there's 12 villages around it, and Guillermo will go through more of that. Why did we pick Guatemala? This is too small for you to read, but this is an infographic developed by one of our partners. 25% of the adult population is illiterate, and of the indigenous Maya population, 60% are illiterate. Of the indigenous girls, only 1 in 4 stay in school after the age of 16. Only 4 out of 10 students who start elementary school will actually finish. 79% of the population lives on $1.90 a day or less of the indigenous Maya. It's actually 6th in the world in terms of children under 5 that are malnourished, and 3 million lack access to safe water. So there's a lot of need for the skill set that our students, that the students here can bring to the organizations who are working so hard to improve quality of life, particularly for the indigenous Maya. So Guillermo's going to take you through just a little bit about Guatemala.
Thank you very much, Linda. Hey, welcome. My name is Guillermo Gonzalez. I work for a nonprofit called Share Guatemala, and I'm here to promote our education abroad program. I'm going to talk a little about Guatemala. Guatemala is a country that has 17 million population. It's a country with a lot of disadvantages and inequalities. Most of them, as Linda was referring to, are on education, on the nutrition, as well as an economic disadvantages. It is privileged in terms of the location. It has access to both oceans, but it's also surrounded by multiple countries. The country itself, it's really challenging as well because it has a really mountainous landscape, and it's also home of more than 23 volcanoes. 3 of them are active, and basically the program activities are now going from, is this a pointer? Sorry.
Maybe. I think there is a pointer. There you go. Yep.
So basically you travel from Guatemala City to Solola, and this is where the Lake Atitlan region is. Solola is a department that has Mayan population, and around the lake area you will find 12 different townships that have different costumes, different traditions, different garments even, and different gastronomy as well. The idea is that you work over there with the organizations that we partner with that are solving the inequalities and the disadvantages that the population faces. This is a beautiful picture of the Lake Atitlan, taken from one of the docks in Panajachel. Panajachel is one of the main towns in the Lake Atitlan region. And Guatemala, well, you know, it's magical, it's ancestral, it has a lot of background in terms of the culture itself, and the traditions are still over there. This is another still of Guatemala. This is Antigua, Guatemala, which is one of the destinations that we promote for leisure activities. It's also surrounded by volcanoes. One of them is active, and you can hike the one that is in front of it and take really beautiful pictures of the active volcano in front of you. Guatemala has more than 50% of the population being still Mayan, and they speak 24 different languages. So what we're trying to do is change people's lives. By you traveling to Guatemala, you're not going to create a direct impact, or you're not going to change their entire lives, but you're going to help the organization that we're working with do that. They have ongoing projects and ongoing programs that will require staff. And what you're doing there is that you're promoting this, for example, safe nutrition, you're promoting safe practices for water consumption, you're promoting also education activities, you're promoting good farming practices as well. And this is a list of the partners that we work with. Vivamos Mejor, which translated to English means let's live better. It's a nonprofit based in the Lake Atitlan region. Mayan Families is another nonprofit we work with as well. They're also based in the Lake Atitlan region. Habel Tinamid is a Spanish school that will offer you also the opportunity to improve your Spanish. I want to ask a question. How many of you have a medium knowledge of Spanish or feel comfortable with it? 1, 2, yeah. Okay.
2.5.
2.5. Más o menos.
One in high school.
Little bit. So the high school level, it's a good start. The idea is that from now until you travel, you do take another class so you can perfect it. But we're also offering students who want to visit the opportunity to stay for a intensive training in Antigua 1 week before you go out into the 6-week internship program. The idea is that in that week you perfect your Spanish skills, because in the community level, when you're working with organizations, it's good that you have a good degree of communication, that you can relate to them, that you can understand them, and that you can help them out. Then Share is an organization I work with. We focus a lot on economic development, so our work is a little bit different from the work that the other organizations do over there. Then we also work with Haciendo Futuros, which they focus a lot on education, so primary education, meaning working with children for their primary education. We continue to develop other relationships in terms of your needs. So what we're doing here is that we're trying to match your knowledge, your skills, and your professional curriculum to the needs of the nonprofits that are working there, so we can find a matching point and then set up an agenda where you will know what activities are you going to develop that you can do and that you can help them out. Normally, we plan activities from Monday to Friday So you have the weekends off and you can do some leisure activities as well. This is the website from one of the organizations, the Futuros, as I said. They focus on education, so they work with the primary school. This is my family's website. They focus on health and nutrition, basically, but they also promote women empowerment. They also promote youth capacity development. So there's opportunities to do internships with them. And they also have a program for the elderly. So it's elderly care that they focus on as well. Vivados Mejor, it's a nonprofit that has a more holistic approach because they work with families, helping them out improve their farming capacities and also the diversity of their diet through that farming as well, in order to improve the nutrition of the children in the household as well. But they also promote women empowerment, they do risk management, they do natural disaster prevention as well. As I told you, it has the opportunity to improve your Spanish. You can take classes in the afternoons if you want. You can take also online classes if needed as well. And they're willing to give us special prizes if you go through this program. SHARE is the nonprofit I work with, and our focus right now is economic development right now. But we also have some projects and programs on research as well as risk management for natural disasters. This is some of the things that I help you out with. So basically, when you arrive to Guatemala, there's someone going to be waiting for you at the airport. We're going to help you out with the transportation from the airport to Sololá and to the Lake Atitlan region. I do a screening of the housing because you stay at homestays where your house will provide you with elements, the basic things that you could need. But the family also gives you some guidance on how to move around the community, how to get things that you need sometimes. If you have any special dietary needs, we can also support you with that over there. I do an introduction to the country. I provide you with some tips on how to behave or things that you're probably asking how to incorporate your skills into your work as well. And I will give you guidance on those things as well as the cultural aspects. I provide you with some of the leisure options for the weekends, like I give you options if you want to go to the beach, if you want to go to a river, if you want to go hiking a volcano, if you want to go do any cultural trip as well. And I help coordinate also research experiences. So in case you're looking to do any type of research as well, that's something I can also help you with. This is the list of the activities that we have done. So this gives you an idea of what you could be looking to do over there. But basically, this is just an example because every time that we plan a trip to Guatemala, what we do is that we analyze what are your skills, what are your capacities, and then we match them with the needs of the nonprofits over there. It's not always the same. We try to improve it every time and according to your needs.
And just to ask quickly, are you primarily business majors in here? Okay, and all of the organizations, we've not placed anybody in that capacity, but all of the organizations said, yes, we need support on the management, the financial business side of things. And even some of the populations that they serve could probably use workshops in financial management. I don't know, but there's, even though we've not placed anybody in that area yet, Guillermo will find the place for you where your skill set can be used. Unless you want to work with preschool kids, then we'll put you with preschool kids.
Yeah. Apart from that, outside of this program, SHARE has done some placements for students that are doing their masters on financials or their masters on business administration as well. We have done placements where you will apply your knowledge in terms of, for example, doing focus groups and doing research market as well. You could also do some business manuals, you could do some business integration, you could do some technology upgrade, you could do any type of consultancy-led type of internship. We could also design it that way in order for you to help out the nonprofits over there, but also local businesses as well. these are some of the pictures of the previous students. Maybe Lena will talk to you about them.
So up to this point, our students have primarily been nutrition and health majors, but this just gives you an idea. This was a pre-med and a pre-PA that worked with a doctor. They did marketplace screenings for blood pressure, glucose. One of them helped deliver a baby, obviously the highlight of this trip. But notice that they're painting too. Sometimes maybe what your partners need is for you to paint walls. They helped get a flushing toilet in a building that didn't have one. They've done food demonstration. They have done gardening. This was with a preschool. This was teaching community classes. They learned how to grow mushrooms. So they used some of their science skills and corn cob substrate. I don't get it all. That's the area I don't like. But this was working with the elderly program. They did some office work. One of the students who worked with the elderly program also spent time in a pharmacy, just getting rid of old medicines and organizing, rearranging to make things more efficient. They did anthropometrics. There's also leisure activities. You can hike a volcano and roast marshmallows on it. You've literally got lava flowing under your feet, but it's obviously safe, and we're going to be sending you out there. They did kayaking. They jumped off cliffs. We arranged cultural tours. They went to a black beach area, and if you're there at the right time of year, you can see sea turtles going out to the ocean. They learned about weaving. You mainly get around by boats on the lake region because the roads are not the best condition and would take a really long time. So Guillermo comes up with a list of activities based on what the students say. These are some of the things we're interested in, and then he presents these activities to you. I won't read through this list. It's on a handout that we'll give you some, well, actually that part's not, but I will just say every student that's gone has said this is life-changing. And if you're a little unsure because you've never traveled abroad, we put everything in place for you. And I tell people it's actually good to be a little uncomfortable traveling abroad because it really makes you vulnerable and opens you up to all sorts of things as opposed to going in with preconceived notions about what it's going to be like. But I would point out enhanced job prospects become competitive in an international market. There is one survey that was done of organizations and businesses, and they said 40% of their jobs they could not fill because they needed somebody with a cultural international mindset, and they couldn't find that. And we are a cultural society, an international society. So there's a lot of opportunities. This is the part I want to spend a few minutes on, and then we're going to have time for you to get some questions in. What does it cost? Your 10-day traditional tour in another country for 10 days is probably going to cost you between $3,000 and $4,000. We're doing it for 6 weeks. The difference is for your traditional program, you're paying for the time the faculty spend developing it, which is very important. Their time is valuable, and you're usually covering their cost to go. Dr. Mark Hoff is our department head. He supports all my time that I have spent working with this program and other people. He supports my cost to go down, whatever faculty goes. So you are not paying for any faculty time at all when you do this. So we're probably even a little high on our airfare. I went with the upper range of what we've seen. Housing and meals run $175 a week, and that's 3 meals a day. But you pay for the meals by the week so that if you want to go out to eat for lunch, supper, you can. You're not doubling up on meals. You just pay for whatever meals you ate at the time. The placement fee is $100 a week. That goes to the organization because of the time that they invest in developing programs for you. One of our organizations has somebody bilingual with the students the whole time. So that placement fee is supporting the hiring of that person. Guillermo also negotiates. For the minimum 6 weeks, it will be $600, but the students that is there for 14 weeks, instead of $1,400, he negotiated $850 for her placement fee for the 14 weeks, because the longer you're there, the more efficient you are to the organization. The program manager fee goes to Sheriff, because Guillermo invests a lot of time in setting up the program, finding the partners, finding the housing. You do need to enroll through the Office of International Programs, as I mentioned, because that's how you get covered under the insurance and the risk management plan. So if there's a volcano possibly going off, in addition to Guillermo letting us know, OIP knows where you are at all times and can get hold of the U.S. Embassy in Guatemala, and they can get you out if they need to. You may already have a passport. That's an estimated cost. And then for non-K-State students, as I mentioned, you do have to enroll in 1 credit hour for that cultural course. because being a non-degree seeking student means you get our insurance once you go through OIP. So
And
that's the
that
benefit of
should
that.
that will transfer back to OU as credit for here too. So you'll take it there, but then it'll be on your transcript and we'll accept that back to count towards your degree here. It'll just be an elective, but it'll count.
And if you wanted to do a research project down there, you would enroll through the hours through here.
Right.
It doesn't mean you have to do anything else in terms of enrollment with K-State. Because our goal is to not make money on this. Our goal is to open this up to anyone throughout the United States. Even faculty can go through our program. Faculty do not have to stay 6 weeks. But the students, we do require it. So if your parent wants to come down and join you for 2 weeks, we can work it out, you know, and make all the arrangements that they need.
No?
We actually had a student that wanted her mom to come, and the mom didn't get to come, but yeah, we can set any of that up because our goal is to help the organizations that are improving the lives of the Maya people. That's why we're doing this. So that gives you an idea about what the cost is. And then again, you may need to factor in if you don't know Spanish, you know, either working with Guillermo or going through one of our partners, or I don't know if they offer Spanish language courses here or the community college. So there might be something additional related to that.
There's also the Duolingo app. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a really nice app if you want to like undust your Spanish.
I use it. I mean, I speak fluent Spanish, but I've been using it just to check it out. And I work with a student at OHS who is here from Guatemala that speaks no English, and he is using it to learn English. And so it's pretty basic, but it's free and it's easy, and you just compete with other people on it. And I got different jobs. Fun. I mean,
The other cool part is that it was developed by a Guatemalan. Then sold to
oh, seriously.
And so the comments we've heard from the students that have gone, one of the comments that stuck with me was they said, I was so excited to go down there and share what I knew to really help them grow and to learn. And she said, honestly, I grew more from my relationship with them than they ever got from me. She said, I was the one that I feel like I received the most. The people are wonderful. They are, for people who live in poverty with hardly anything, they are the nicest people. They are so appreciative and grateful for any support that we give them and for opportunities that can be opened up to them because of the knowledge and the skill sets that we bring to these organizations. And that's one of the reasons that this is life-changing for you. One of our students now picked directly his master's degree and where he's going because of his experience in Guatemala. He had a very eye-opening experience and he said, okay, this is what I want to do now for the rest of my life in terms of my career. So, and it's a way to challenge yourself. We've had students never been out of the United States at all before. And so it's a confidence builder to find out you can go into these environments and you can be successful and learn more about yourself at the same time. So at this point, I want to open it up for just whatever questions that you have.
You can ask questions about Guatemala. You can ask questions about the program. You can ask questions on how this relates to your career as well. What's the currency? Guatemala uses quetzales, and the exchange rate is that you, for $1, you will get 7 and 70 cents, 7 quetzales and 70 cents. Yeah, you can buy actually quetzales here. There are a couple of banks that have quetzales as well. Normally, we suggest that you take a debit card. There's ATMs in the town that you are. Businesses not normally have machines to take credit cards, so most of the purchases are done in cash.
And Guillermo provides an orientation session for all students, and he takes you through how to get more money when you need it, where are the safe ways. Just, we found out don't take $20 bills to Guatemala. Apparently it's counterfeited a lot or something. I don't know. The businesses don't want $20 bills because the banks may not accept them.
Money laundering laws are really strict in Guatemala. That's the reason.
Oh,
They have
okay.
to be hundreds. They all have to be perfect, pristine. Like go to the bank and say,
Every
open the
bill.
vault for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even at the bank, they're like, no.
Things are really, I don't want to say cheap, inexpensive down there. Food is inexpensive. I mean, the students, when we survey the ones that come back, they said, tell people to take more money to buy other things than you think you're going to want. Because they were all going back to the bank because they just found more and more things that they wanted to invest their money in.
Any other questions?
And we can take more questions at the end too. And
So we can move to the next.
yeah, maybe you guys can go grab some pizza. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You want to?
So Guillermo runs this phenomenal program down there with the internships and 6 weeks. We just met him when we were there in August. I had been talking with Linda to see how my organization, Education and More, could work with K-State as well. And she put me in contact with Guillermo. And we offer kind of a different aspect, very similar to the majority of groups that Guillermo works with. But we do more like 1 week mission trips. So if you think 6 weeks is a huge commitment, we do kind of a 1 week thing. We've been working with the same groups of Indigenous people around the lake for 12 years. We work with 4 different groups, and we sponsor children from those groups. As both Guillermo and Linda pointed out, education is hard in Guatemala, especially for girls. We currently have about 63 children sponsored through our program. We have 6 people now in college, which before would have been unheard of, and 5 of them are women. So we have really made an impact with the groups that we work with. It's been really fun for me since I speak fluent Spanish. I've been able to really get to know the families. And matter of fact, just this morning, one of our college students, the one boy, he just finished his finals and he is studying tourism, wants to become a chef, and he sent me all his final exam grades and sent me pictures of all the big food displays they had made. And one of our other college students, she is studying nursing, and last week she did a rotation in a pediatric ward outside of Hotel, I don't know where, somewhere around the country. And she sent me pictures of the babies and all that. So it's really neat because we get to develop through our program a real one-on-one relationship with the people that we work with. So I'm going to just run this video and you can hear just a smidge about what we do.
Education More is a Christian charity whose focus is educating children and reducing poverty in Guatemala. I first came to Guatemala on a mission team and met some ladies that were needing to sell some shawls and some other products they had woven on their backstrap looms. I took some home, really liked them, and I thought I could help these ladies earn a living. And
This is
that's how it all
Christina.
started. It was just heart-wrenching to me that they needed the help in selling their products. And they do beautiful work. And when I went home, I really wasn't going to return to Guatemala, but I think the Lord just put it on my heart that I needed to come back, I needed to help, because we want to help. That's all we want to do is just help.
Oops.
I don't know what it's doing. It's crazy.
Well, anyways, you can see a little bit, those were the actual people that we work with. Mostly we work with artisan groups that specialize in weaving. As you see, there was mostly women. A lot of the men are not present in the family because they are either working in the fields, a lot of it's subsistence farming, or they're working in the city or on the coast or here in the States. So we go and we look for different needs. Like I said, we have a sponsorship program for children.
I don't know what it's doing.
Yeah, that's fine. We do vacation Bible school. So if you do enjoy working with children, they love it. It is absolutely a blast. And sometimes it's really fun because the moms and grandmas get involved too. And so I actually have a picture of all the grandmas going like this because we were making little things. We go every January. We hand out scholarships and backpacks. So that's really fun. The kids are always excited to get their new school supplies and see us. We work with Healthy Homes. This year we did a medical mission for the first time. We pay fair trade wages, which women in children Bible study, what are you doing? So anyways, these are our 4 different groups that we work with, and we actually have people there that weekly go and do Bible studies with our Indigenous groups for us. You can see we usually have them do a project. This is in San Antonio. This is Christina's group. This is also Christina's group. That one is in Show Cruz, which we have, how many families do we have in Show Cruz? There's 25 women. 25 women. There's like 90 people every time we go. It's a huge group. This is Julio's group in El Tablon, which is also very big. We do things like put on new roofs. That's part of our healthy homes. Put in pilas, which are sinks that they use outside, like your grandma might have. Big cement sinks. They wash their clothes, prepare their food, kind of everything in the same sink. Just leave it. Just like I said, we did the medical program. We worked with Dr. Mendez in San Pedro. It is one of the few free private clinics. It was very eye-opening. My stepfather is a doctor, and we went there, and my son's girlfriend is a second-year nursing student, and her friend both came. The nurses that worked there were very impressed by the amount of education that our second-year nursing students had. They were able to do things there that they would not have been able to do here in the States. Nothing major, but they were able to kind of get in and really watch up close while we pulled a toenail off the guy's foot that had a really bad infected ingrown toenail. But it's kind of crazy, like, yeah, we went to the market and tested blood sugar levels. There was a lady, her blood sugar level was well over 400, like off the charts. And she's just like, oh yeah, just functioning. And, you know, they give them like 10 metformin and say, oh, here you go. Here's 10 days worth of medication. Come see me in 10 days. It was kind of an eye-opening experience to see all of how the system is ran. We got to go do a tour of the public hospital in Sololá. And I will say, after visiting ICU, my stepdad came back and said, you need travel insurance because I don't want you to go to the hospital here. But you know what you see in scary movies with the people like all out in the hallway in the beds? It's kind of the way it is. So everything we do, they appreciate a lot. What Linda said about the people being amazing, that is what it is. They're just, I never met an unfriendly person the entire time I've been there. They've been so wonderful, and it's indescribably beautiful. So if you're thinking that you maybe don't want a long-term experience but would like to go for a week, there's a couple options you can check out. Or it can be a combination of the two, yeah. So, all right, now Russ is going to talk because he has a different thing.
All right, mine's pretty simple. So I'm working with University Francisco Marroquín. I went and gave a talk there over the summer, was part of when I traveled, and I'm going to teach a class there this coming summer that you could take too. So you, as part of this experience or a combination of some things, you could come and take a class down there through them in kind of a student exchange type of fashion. And that, if you do take the full class, that would count towards credit here at Ottawa University too. So it might be another thing that you could roll in. They've got an awesome economics department down there, and I'm going to be teaching a class, but then we might have some Guatemalan students, if they're interested, to come take my class. I'm teaching money and banking. Some of you are going to be in there in the fall, and we might have some Guatemalan visitors come for that class as well. So that's another option. The campus is beautiful. This has got a mushroom picture. I don't know, that's not helping out much, but all of Guatemala is just spectacular, very beautiful. And there's other types of opportunities there that could be done with some form of student exchange. So if you're interested in that, we can even kind of customize something. They're real flexible on how that might look and work. So, and that's in Guatemala City is where that's located. So. All right, so that's enough for me. Maybe if the others want to come back up and we can just take any questions. If you guys want more pizza, we got so much pizza, go back and grab some more pizza. Feel free to roam around. Did I see a hand up? Yep.
Yeah, I have two questions. So first one, I guess a little more broad, right? So what can you do a payment plan, or does that have to be a one-time payment?
Mark, do you know how it works with it? Because since you're with
There's a date that everything has to be paid. And so if you're procrastinating, there isn't a payment plan. I think it's like a month, you can break that into months prior to.
Do you know when the deadline is by chance?
No, I don't. Because with the visits being, I think it's like 6 months before you go. Most of our students are on this could be a year round, so that would be 6 months before that.
Okay. And then I guess the other question would be, so what would the interaction be like? So if you went to be a class like what you were talking about with us, as well as, you know, work for these nonprofits, what would that interaction look like, right? Would it be at a different time? Like, would you take that class after you work with the nonprofit and be there longer?
One
I
of
think it
the
would just
things-
depend.
Yeah, one of the things we do is we provide internet support down there. We have boosters that our students use because the student that's there now is taking 12 hours of classes online. And she's pre-med, she has to keep her GPA up. So Guillermo also negotiates with the organizations about work hours if you are taking classes, because we don't want you spending all your evening, you know, doing coursework either. So he makes sure the organization understands the expectations, and then you will have internet support while you're there. The organizations have it, but you got to boost it sometimes, because the bandwidth that they have is not going to be usually enough to download a lecture, for example.
I'm thinking, I know UFM is pretty flexible, and maybe depending on what organization, you might be able to take a class and then go to the organization, do your thing. So it'd kind of be like a live work or a school and work type of thing. I think that would at least be potential for that, not just do one thing and then do the.
I think their creativity is exactly why we're here. Just to be able to bring these linkages and to be able to have some collaborations that are kind of outside the box, to be able to be custom as best we can.
What was the profits in Guatemala City too? Sorry.
Sorry?
Any of the nonprofits in Guatemala City?
I just know that that's who said the university.
Yeah, right now, our students have not been placed there, but Guillermo certainly has connections with nonprofits in Guatemala City.
Share actually has offices in Guatemala, so you could also work for us over there.
What would the most ideal date for like students to go? Like, what's the what time of year do most people go?
Do you like rain?
Yeah, like rain.
Oh, well, I thought you were going to say no.
I know. I actually.
It rains like 8 months of the year.
But when it rains, it's not like a downpour all day.
No.
Yeah.
It's like
Caribbean
Hawaii.
rain. Yeah, you get a light rain and then it goes away.
You go in August, you go in January, it's 80 for highs and 50s for lows basically all year round.
Yeah, so
The
if you
first
wanna go
trip, I
somewhere-
was there in March and 1st of April, and it didn't rain at all.
Okay, so people go just like any time of the year.
Yeah, you can, we've
And
set
we went in
this-
the rainy season in August, and I think it rained 2 afternoons the whole time we're there. Now, that being said, 3 weeks ago, it rained days and like bucket loads, not in the morning, but afternoons in Pana anyways. It was like,
Climate change is real.
it was ridiculous. Yeah,
It is,
so-
it is. But yeah, basically, you just take the class that it's required, and then we see from there what is your best dates according to your academic schedule as well. And we can organize it that you're there for maybe spring break or summer break, so it fits your agenda as well. Yes.
My suggestion would be go in the winter time, skip up here, go down there.
Yeah, it's not cold. Exactly.
It's not cold here. I've been down there probably 13 times, had been rained on in the afternoon for an hour, maybe 4 or 5 times.
The only time I put on a jacket is on the boat in the afternoons, because the breeze sometimes gets cold.
This longer term thing might look a little scary to some of you, but it's a tremendous opportunity. And bear in mind that if you go 10 weeks, each additional week is incrementally low, right? Because you've got $300 worth of whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so it's actually very low to stay longer. You might be able to stay 10, 12 weeks for whatever, $4,000 or less.
The majority of students that have gone 6 weeks said we could have stayed longer without any problem, because about week 5 is when they said we really knew what we were doing. We knew the communities, people recognized us, and they were, you know, Guillermo said, should we require longer than 6 weeks, which I don't want to go there yet, but they were going, you know, yeah, we could have stayed longer than 6 weeks.
The neat thing is, if you're an adventurous type, you can go down there and spend some time. Regardless, if you go the shorter term or longer term, he's going to take care of you. This is a really cool connection. that students should try to exploit. Let's see, Claudia, did you have anything for Luke or something?
Yeah, I had a question. I would like to know about the security on the trip. For example, if I'm taking a class in Guatemala City and I'm working with a nonprofit organization, how I'm moving around the city and all that stuff.
Yeah, okay. So Guatemala City, it's tricky. It's divided by zones. So basically, I'm not going to place you in any of the risk areas that are identified in the city. I'm going to place you close to the university, for example, in a house, in a family house that it's really close and it provides you a certain good access to the university. That will be my first strategy. Secondly is that we have a risk management policy where we evaluate, for example, alternate ways of communication, alternate ways of transportation for you to feel safe and secure. Then we, as Linda said, we work with an insurance, so you're covered in terms of an accident, in terms of any disease that you have. And apart from that, I give you specifically a training on terms of what things you should expect, what things you should do, what things you shouldn't do. I'm going to give you one example. My girlfriend asked me, hey, can I take this on in a park? And I'm like, you can do that in the United States. You cannot do that in Guatemala. You cannot go in a bikini over there, right? And then she was like, can I take my computer with me and walk the streets? And I'm like, no, because you don't want to call attention that you have a backpack that has a computer. So if you needed to take a computer, I'll give you another alternatives for you to do that. That's basically what I'm doing over there. Apart from that, I'm 24 hours reachable. I have contacts with authorities as well in case we need support as well.
And safety in Panajachel?
Yeah, that's basically in the city. Then in Panajachel, it's a much more relaxed town. It's a tourist town, so it's full with other tourists that are doing similar activities to you. There's other universities also going. That's another thing I forgot to mention. A lot of universities attend
Retired Americans. It's
retired
American expats, people who basically live down in Guatemala. They're in this town as well.
They're living also over there. And then there's tourism police as well in that town because they take care of tourists. They know it's a good source of income, so they take care of it. Then the same thing, situation happens with the communities we work with and the nonprofits we work with. We train them and we make them sure that they know where you are at every moment, as well as me, and you are in constant communication with them, as well as me. I keep communicating with you. I evaluate alternative routes for you. I evaluate alternative means of communication, and I deploy the same security protocol as I would do in the city. But this time it's much more easier because the culture over there, it's much more safe in the city. In the city, it will be like much more narrow, the opportunity for you to go and, I don't know, walk miles. No. That will be so much reduced because the city has much more dangers as New York, Chicago, or whatever.
Kansas City.
A parent asked me, would my daughter be safe walking the streets of Panajachel at 11 o'clock at night? And I said, we would not recommend that, but I would also say, do not walk Aggieville in Manhattan at 11 o'clock at night if you're a female by yourself, you know. So it's common sense on some things.
Yeah.
She's probably safer in Panajachel 11 o'clock at night than Aggieville, honestly.
So it's about time here. We got 12:52, so you guys can feel free to leave and we can stay. Luke, maybe let's do a quick round of applause.
Thank you. There are handouts you can grab as you leave.
Yes.
So are there like any job opportunities? So it's an internship or maybe
Right.
So is there going to be chances to make money while you're there? So you're not spending money.
I could hook you up with opportunities to work at coffee shops. I could also look for opportunities to work at libraries as well.
Yeah.
And I know some organizations that work on art specifically. Definitely, I could also.
That's a question we not had. That's a good question.
Yeah.
So gotta make money still.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, and thanks for listening. Appreciate it.
And that might make the parents happy too. No, about if you were actually working while you were there supporting something.
Oh, good. I wanted to know about that. I'm actually from Barcelona. I'm actually from
Oh,
okay.
And I'm really interested in this because I always wanted to do something to help the people that need it. The only problem I see is the economic situation because I'm a senior, I'm graduating in May.
But you know what? If you wanted to do it this summer, as long as you enroll in the class this spring, which you could either join via Zoom Live or you can watch the recordings, as long as you enroll while you are still a student, you can go in the summer.
Exactly.
Even though you would have graduated.
Even if you graduate.
Because you started the interest while you were still a student.
Okay.
So we could send you there this summer.
Okay, that will be great. And what I would like to do as well is try to work in there so I can cover the expenses in there, and that way I can make it like a win-win situation.
And let me give you.
I can help you with
that.
Claudio.
Okay, here's my business card. So you can email me, it's somewhere else right there, yeah. You can email me, call me, text me, whatever, and we can discuss further arrangements. We can set up a Zoom session with Guillermo, because he's going back to Guatemala, but if you've got more questions, you know, and he would want to ask you some questions also, you know, I'm prepared for it. Yes. The main thing would be, if you think you want to do that, we would need to know so that we could get you enrolled in that as a non-traditional